You're 37 and you've never been in love.
Yep.
So tell me about it. How's it happen? How's it happen?
Well, I have had a few pretty lengthy relationships.
Okay.
I would say I have loved. I am full of love. I have a lot of love to give. Mm-hmm. But that in love feeling that people speak of, I don't know if I've ever had.
Comment below and let me know how do you know when you're in love? So this is my friend Amanda Merlot. I love your name, honey.
Oh, thank you.
I love it.
I know. Better when aged.
Better when aged.
I
love it. But when you say you loved men before, what did that feel like?
Everything in the beginning that you should feel.
Like?
Which is exactly that. Which is that butterfly feeling, that feeling that I cannot wait to see him. I can't wait to say good morning to him. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to cook for him. I can't wait to be with him, learn about him, just basically like be with him at all times. Just get to know that human being.
So what happens? So you meet them, you feel that, then what happens? Where does it drop off?
I'm trying to figure out.
Well, you're in it. You see the patterns better than I do.
Okay, I think if we're talking about with me personally, what I've noticed over time is, well, I know I've learned this about myself. I am an empath. Mm-hmm. And so I tend to attract people who are not necessarily great for me. I tend to attract narcissists.
Let me tell you what an empath is. I want you, just so that you know, an empath is someone who you feel other people's feelings. And you may relate to this, like someone's telling a story and they start to cry and you can feel almost the same level of pain as them.
Yep.
In empaths, you are very empathetic, right? And that is, some people have a very strong gifting in that area, which can come in handy, but it can also be problematic at times.
Yeah, and I believe that I'm an empath to a fault because I pour so much of myself into people, too much, that I lose myself.
And then you realize you've lost yourself. And then, so I've done that before where I'm an empath as well. And what I would do is I would meet you. Yeah. Tell me if the story sounds familiar. I meet you. I fall in love with you. You fall in love with me. I start pouring so much into you because that's how, if I love you, you get all of me. So I'm pouring so much into my feelings, my time, my energy, all of that. I'm pouring it into you. Sexually, I'm pouring into you, all of that. Yep. And then at a certain point in time, after the infatuation and that kind of stuff wears off, it could be months and it could be years, then what ends up happening is that I start to look up and I realize you're not pouring as much into me as I'm pouring into you. And then I start to resent you. Or I start to pull away from you. Even if I don't resent you fully, I pull away from you. And then it doesn't work. And what I had to learn for myself was that they are not at fault. What it is that I am coming in and I am essentially love bombing them. I'm giving them so much of myself too soon. They can never measure up to it. And on top of that, because I jump right in, I'm normally doing it for guys who have not evaluated and vetted long enough to determine if they're the best fit. So I'm pouring into the wrong vessel that's not even capable or big enough of having enough to pour back into me.
You literally spoke everything. That's who I am and what I've done. But the problem is that I'm not quick to jump in unless I'm feeling something from that person, right? So if he's giving me, which in the past, somehow I've always landed these men who are giving it to me big time.
And so when they're giving it to you and you're giving it to them in terms of that connection, then it can just go.
Then it goes, but then I realize after kind of time goes on, whoever they were in the beginning, whether it was just to land me, lock me down, whatever it was, that's not who they appear to be. And then the real person comes out. And then I do start to feel used mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I do start to feel used. I had the last guy I was with financially, just all kinds of different things. And then you're left feeling like, I don't understand. I gave you so much. I poured so much into you. I thought you were doing the same, but in reality, with a narcissist, they weren't even there to begin with. You know
Is there a possibility that there may be some part of you that is attracted to men who will ultimately need you?
100%. It's the Mother Teresa syndrome.
Tell me about that.
That's what
I've never heard it put that way. But
yeah. It is. There are people, men and women alike, who it makes you feel so good to help others, right? And so you attach yourself to others in need. You're almost a light to them. And then what it does for you is it makes you feel good because you're helping them. You're important. You're making their world. You're a light in their dark space. And it's kind of a nice nice thing in the beginning because
you're feeling validated, fulfilled, you're feeling needed. Comment below if you felt this.
But in the end, here's what ends up happening is you're trying to save them, but you can't. You can't save that person. They can only save themselves. And for me, what has happened is I've lost myself.
Well, I think anytime that you go into a relationship or situationship with somebody where you are trying to save them, you are trying to make them better, you're trying to change them at the end of the day, that's what we're talking about, trying to change them, you're going to lose yourself within that process because the amount of energy it takes to change someone is so depleting that there's no way for you to hold on to you. But I will also offer this. I think that sometimes, I know I've done this, I would go into relationships with people who I knew on some level, I don't say we're deficient, but basically that they didn't have it all together in some way, shape, or form. And I was attracted to that. It was like, ooh, the bird with the broken wing. Let me go help that bird with the broken wing. I would go into that. And a part of the attraction to it was, yes, I could feel validated, that I could help them. Yes, I could feel needed. But also a big part of the attraction was that through focusing on helping you, I didn't have to focus on me. Because there's a lot of unhealed parts of me. And if I get into a relationship with an equal is going to be like a spotlight on me because they're not going to tolerate some of my stuff. They're not going to see some of they are going to see some of my stuff. But for someone who's not at my level emotionally and otherwise, they can't see my stuff at all. So for me, it was a way to hide in plain sight. If I'm with you and I'm settling for you, you're so grateful to have somebody like me. I feel so needed. And the big elephant in the middle of the living room is we never have to focus on my stuff.
Which in the end is the person that you need.
You do.
The person that you're giving to others, you need to take all that energy and give to yourself. That's what I learned about the last relationship that literally, MJ, broke me.
Really?
To nothing. Literally.
Why?
My gosh. Because I feel this is the closest to love I became. Okay. Now, was he in love with me? No. But I felt that I was. I have never given myself so much to a man in my whole life. And I was so devastated when I found out behind my back some things that were going on.
What did you find out? A preview.
There was some cheating. There was a lot of manipulation, a lot of lying. I helped... this man had 2 children that he did not have custody of. I would support him in court. There's a lot of different things that went on.
Were you spending money too?
Not with that.
Okay.
I let him live under my roof for a few months.
That's money. That's your light bill.
Yeah.
That's your food, your water.
And he was doing other stuff behind my back and made me feel some type of way when we were together, but I didn't realize everything else that was going on. So when I found all this stuff out, and in the end, I felt so used and abused in every way, shape, and form. And it just literally broke me to the point where I was like, wow, I wasn't really wanting to go on. There was a lot of different things mentally that was going on with me at that point.
Yeah, you felt broken and you felt like the fantasy, the hopes that you had of who he could be and what you all could be together, the future you all could have together. When someone yanks that away from you because of betrayal or anything that blindsides you, it really can make you question so many things. And in some cases, people do they start to question the value of their own life at that point in time, because it's just like you put so much into them, you've poured so much in to them that literally you have nothing left once they leave.
That's how it felt. And I didn't realize until it all happened and I went through it that there was a blessing waiting.
What was that?
The blessing is I had formed a pattern of people that I was dating, not with their fault, but more my own.
Did you recognize that pattern before this breakup happened? So
Well, I recognized that I was attracting these men that were like kind of the same. I'm like, this is interesting. They look different. They have different jobs. Everything is different about them.
Same script, different cast. Yeah. Whitney.
But there was the underlying factor of the type of man that he was, and they were all that similar.
If you had to describe the type, how would you describe it? Because your story that you're telling is something that a lot of these women relate to. Comment, share, like, all that if you relate, or just type I relate if you can relate to this, because a lot of people can relate to this. I've built this man up and built him up, and I'm the one who's left devastated. So you have to describe the type of man that you kept on attracting, there's similarity.
He was the needy one. He was the little hurt puppy. He was the one who really like, but I thought that I would help fix him. I would make him better. Not that that was an expectation I had to be with him, but that I wanted to so badly. Yeah. Because I knew what I was capable of. I knew that I can help people, and I take such pride and joy in doing that and making people feel better. And he knew that, though.
They smell like blood in the water. I'll tell you this, when you are a helpful person, you're an empathic person, you have to understand that you are going to be more likely to attract certain types of men and women who are going to be parasitic. They want to suck you dry. But the thing is, you're going to also attract good people as well. So I'm not going to say it's all you'll attract. But you have to be aware that people can sense that in your spirit. They can sense that you're a good person. They latch onto it and they'll tell you everything you want to hear. But you do have a defense mechanism against them. You don't have to fall in. The defense mechanism is your instinct. So my next question is, with this last one, you said almost broke you. How early did some part of your instincts kick in and say, something's may not be right here?
Immediately.
Yeah.
And I didn't go through with it. I didn't listen to my intuition. I didn't listen to my gut. I was so enamored by him and his just
what he represented.
Aura. Yeah. Oh, all about him. I mean, I knew from the beginning that he had a lot of what I should stay away from, right? Yeah. Like, just if you put down on paper success, like career, just everything. There were already those kind of little like.
So he didn't have much of a career.
Well, not from what I am used to. Like, I'm a nurse and I have a career and I work hard. Yeah. And he was struggling, and normally I wouldn't go down that path because I want somebody who's financially stable.
Baby, I have written resumes to help get a man out of a fast food job before. Honey, I have spent money.
Then you
Let me help you put a down payment on that car, because if you had a car, you get to a job there.
Right, what we do. What we do
for
people, and how we will let these things go to the wayside because we're so like, oh my God, it was almost like a drug. Yeah. Like, but you're beautiful and you have this intoxication over me and you're this and you're that. And I've never tried this type and I've never, you know what I mean? He was very like, woo. But from the beginning, I was seeing all these things and pushing them aside. And I shouldn't have let it go as far as it did. Yeah. But I realized the reason I did is because I didn't love myself. It's number one. It's the first, I came out of this whole thing after, let's see, it has been, oh my gosh, over 1.5 years. And I've taken this whole time to heal.
And I'm glad you've given yourself that time to heal.
A lot of introspection. And let me tell you, the best thing you'll ever do is work on you. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do, but the best. Because the problem is, in today, too many people are walking around. Let's say everybody, we all have traumas. We're all broken. But the challenge here is to work on you before you move forward with somebody else.
But the thing for me was, I was a serial monogamist, which means I went from one monogamous relationship to the next, and I went from one broken man to the next. So if any of my exes are watching and they say, was I the broken one? No, baby, you were the one exception. But I went from one broken man to the next. And for me, what I realized was that I would jump into a new relationship because a new relationship provided me, it's like a drug, like you said. Yeah. It provided me with the feeling of happiness, joy, that adrenaline, sexual fulfillment. And I'd have to focus on the broken heart that I just experienced and focus on healing the parts of myself that allowed me to be in that relationship in the first place. And that was something that was really hard for me to deal with. My last breakup, I made a conscious choice. I'm not going to jump into a relationship. And it's been about the same amount of time because I wanted to make sure that I had time to actually heal. Now I want to ask you this, okay? Because your desire is to be in a relationship.
100%.
Do you think that if her king is watching, baby, hit her up.
Oh my God, I'm here for you.
But if your desire is to be in a relationship, do you think that on some level, because that desire has existed, do you think that on some level, your desire to be in a relationship may have blinded you to some people's deficiencies? I can tell you, as I've gotten older, and I'm like, I want to be in a relationship, I want to be in a relationship, there have been times where I was willing to compromise and ignore certain things because I had an unspoken sense of scarcity in my mind. Well, let's work with him. Let's try to make it work rather than believing, no, I really don't need to make it work. with this man who on paper and in person is not measuring up?
I didn't know what I wanted.
Really?
That was the problem. Is I was out there not knowing who I was or what I wanted. I knew what I thought was cute. I knew what I thought was fun. I knew what I thought was interesting. I knew what I wanted to try different, but I didn't truly know what I want because I didn't know me. So I didn't go into it thinking I want a relationship. I just thought, okay, well, let's just see.
Yeah.
And then as time went on with most of the guys who have been a little bit longer of relationships, obviously I fall for them. And then I'm like, oh yes, I want to be in a relationship with them. But I've never really gone into something. It isn't until now at this age and after I've healed from all this and learned, no, I'm ready. I'm ready now because I know what I want. I know who I am. And ultimately, I love myself first.
Have you identified what your Achilles heel is when it comes to men? I'll tell you, like, for example, what my Achilles heel is.
Me.
My Achilles heel when it comes to men, right? The thing, and when I say Achilles heel, what I mean is that thing that is a weakness for you, that even in your strength, you need to be mindful of. Okay. My Achilles heel has been that during times where I am feeling lonely, or I'm feeling lonely or anything like that, that during that time, I am more susceptible to ignore a man's deficiencies just to have the presence of him within my life. So because I'm aware of that, during those lonely spells, that's generally the time where I'm least likely to commit to wanting to be intimate with someone and spend a lot of time with them. I let the spell pass. I've had to learn that about myself because I've ended up in some really terrible relationships for me because I chose these men during periods of loneliness. Have you identified what your Achilles heel may be emotionally? That I am more susceptible to making poor choices with men when this is happening or when I'm feeling this or that.
God, I don't know. This is difficult. My Achilles would be feeling scared to be alone, not having a human, that presence, not having somebody to be able to enjoy life with and do things with. But I'm different now. I don't feel that like, oh my God, it's the end all. What am I gonna do? Even if I'm in a time of loneliness, be present in the loneliness and enjoy it. There's a reason, we're in different spaces in our life for different reasons at different times. And every piece that you're in, acknowledge it, love it, do whatever you need to do in that moment. And so for me, my moments of solitude and introspection, there was a reason that I had to go through all that. And it was the time to know me and get to love me.
I will say that's one of the best parts that I've experienced about being single has been that it gave me time to be honest with myself about the poor choices that I was making in men and the poor choices I was making for myself for over a decade. So it gave me space to be able to own that, to be able to say, well, who do I want to be different, and to be able to identify what are the traits that matter to me and what do I want in a man. So now you're at this stage, right? Because you say you want to be in a relationship.
Yes, sir.
What do you want in a partner at this time?
Well, there are a few non-negotiables.
What are they? Y'all comment below with your non-negotiables. What are you not willing to accept?
Loyalty is huge for me. I'm a Taurus. I'm as
y'all are very loyal. Yeah.
If they don't get more loyal, I'm sorry, I gotta say it. I gotta
you
represent.
really are. She really is.
Loyalty is huge. We have got to communicate. I do not care what relationship it is, friendship, business, mate. If there is no communication, there is nothing. There really isn't. And it needs to be an open communication. You tell me your fears, you tell me your dislikes, you tell me your wants, you tell me your needs. And I need to be able to do the same. It's a two-way street, not a one-way.
Let me ask you this. What's your best friend's name?
My best friend?
One of them.
Jenna.
Jenna, okay.
Yeah.
So if we were to ask Jenna right now, actually, Jenna, come on out.
I wish she would. Oh my God, she would die. She would die.
So if we were to ask Jenna, because she knows you well, my best friend knows me well.
Oh my God.
If we were to ask her, what could Amanda do to be more equipped or to attract a partner, to be able to maintain and have a healthy relationship, what would she say? Because our best friends, I believe, have great insight.
They do.
What would Jenna say?
I think Jenna would say two things.
What would she say?
She would say, number one is confidence.
Okay.
Confidence in who you are and what you represent and bring to the table. You know what I mean? Jenna knows my past and how much I've been hurt and how I've lost my confidence. And I've lost the feeling that like somebody's gonna love me for what I am, what I bring to the table, the unconditional love, the sensitivity, the type of woman that I am. But I lost that along the way. And so for me, it's more developing that, which I've been working on, and I'm getting it back. Stella got her groove back.
Yeah, she's getting her groove back, baby.
Got it back. So confidence would be number one.
So she would say more confidence.
More confident. Okay. And then she would tell me that I need to be very careful who I allow into my space.
Okay.
So more of filter.
Like discernment.
Yep.
Okay. So
yeah, because in the past, I see all these little hurt birds, little sad puppies, and let me help you, let me do whatever, I can, when it's like, no, you really have to pick a difference here between helping someone, giving them everything and giving them their all, or just little bits. You know what I mean? You don't have to sit here and throw yourself at somebody.
I used to be attracted to wanting to help a man because my thought was like, he needs me in this, and I'm helping him, and we're going to bond that much more because look, I'm helping him grow into his best self. We're going to have a success story to talk about. What I now realize is that if he's at a point when I meet him, if he's at a point where he needs help, where he's not where he could be, this is a personal choice that he's making, because the reality is that I've made the choices for myself, just like you've made the choices for yourself, to work on the areas I need to work on, to own the areas that I need to heal, and to do what I have to do. So why is it that within my life space, I'm able to make these choices that allow me to be my best self, or at least work towards that, yet and still you've not made that choice? I feel like where people are at in life is a reflection of their conscious choices. I don't care if my mama was this and my daddy was that, my brother went to jail and this happened that, and I lost my job. We've all gone through shit. I'm not like this because I had a perfect life. I'm like this because I made choices to be my best self. So I'm not willing to excuse the fact that you haven't made those choices. Unfortunately, you are not equipped for this job that you're applying for, being my partner at this time. You need more experience.
I like that. And isn't that what dating is? Isn't dating kind of like interview?
It's an interview. It's an audition process.
That's how I should have looked at it in the past. It was more like, you got the job, you got the job, you got the job, you got the job.
Did he show up? Okay, bring him in.
Okay, right? Like,
honey, if you had a cute face and a pulse with me, you had the job. Yes. And if you got some good, then baby, I ignored everything.
That made it worse. That made it worse.
For me, I got to the point in my life where I said, I don't want to be with a man who got A+. Because if he got A+, that's going to mess up my head. I need, give me a good old B. Because at least if it's a B, then it ain't
Why is that?
Because once you touch here, they touch here.
Oh my God. It's
a soul tie. Have you ever been hypnotized before? Yeah. You have?
Yeah.
Did you know you were hypnotized? Yeah. It was awful?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
No, I mean okay, Rich.
Yeah, Rich, yeah.
So it's funny because I used to be his roommate, and so I would tell Rich all kinds of stuff.
Rich is the person who I did the crab mukbang with, where we're crunching. If you go to my YouTube, you'll see it there. We'll have the link in the description of the video.
He's hilarious. But because he was my roommate, Lord knows he was like my brother. He knew everything about me.
Y'all knew everything about each other, yeah.
Yeah. And when I was seeing somebody and I was hypnotized, I wasn't thinking straight. I was not. I would come home and tell him, oh my God, this is a funny story. I'm sorry. But when I first experienced it, I remember I came home and I had to grab a bag of frozen blueberries. Honey, let me tell you.
He told you up that bad?
No, MJ, I have never, because we didn't stop. It went on and oh my God, it's like I had seen the light. Oh my Jesus, I had never experienced something like that in my life. You can understand, I was which made things even more intense for me, because I'm like, oh, I can't ever let that go.
I will never.
Oh, that is so good. So I had a bag of frozen blueberries, and Rich comes home and he's like, what is going on? And I'm like, yo, I gotta tell you, I was icing my area. Yeah. Because it was so tore up, I couldn't walk right. He just couldn't get over this. He thought I have never seen a woman.
Was he worth anything as a person?
No, he was the last one.
This is the one.
That's why I'm saying it really.
That kept you there.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I will say probably that's the number one thing that really messed me up, was that.
Let's own it.
Because I couldn't. I was
And then every time you try to get away, they throw that thing on you one more time, and you be just, that thing is a deadly weapon, honey.
Well, it's a deadly weapon for everybody.
Yeah,
because he was out there, okay? But see, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But for me, I'm thinking like, I crave, like, this is it.
I remember one time I was so caught up by this guy. It was just made of gold, honey. It was and it had the nerve to have a curve too. You know what I mean? Had the nerve. It was so good. And I remember I got so sprung on him that he said, I think I may want to go back with my ex. No. I said, you can be with both of us. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We can work through. So I was convinced.
Yeah, you don't want to let that go.
I couldn't let him go. And he'd tell me, wouldn't call me at night. And every night, I remember every night I was going to bed crying. It got so bad. It was rough, and he was awful. He was a liar. He had awful character. He was terrible.
Oh my God. Stop.
But it was that
this
thing.
Is exactly.
Yes.
I swear to God. Okay, see, now this makes sense, because I swear, and I'm sorry for all y'all men out there who are blessed and amazing and whatever, and that have good hearts and everything else. You're rare.
We're talking about your brothers that you need to talk to.
Yeah, because usually when they are that good, they freaking know it, and they know their options, and they are.
I think they're that good for a reason. They're that good because they know they are so deficient in other areas.
They're that good because that's all they bring to the table.
Hallelujah.
100%.
I say, especially, I call them hobosexuals, when literally the men who don't got no place to live and ain't got and don't have strong prospects, they doing all that as a deposit, hoping that you will bring them into your life and get things going for them, a place to live, help them find a job. They know what they're doing. They are taking you into submission.
No, that is literally.
Yes, they are.
Yes.
They are taking you into submission.
No, that is exactly what it is.
So for me, I was talking yesterday with her name is Roxy Cordova. She is an amazing Latin American commentator, entertainer, radio host. She's fabulous. And what we talked about was how for both of us, I didn't commit to this pledge yet, but we talked about it. Devon Franklin had the whole book about waiting until marriage to have sex. I'm not doing that. But we did talk about the idea of what if we waited 90 days?
When you find somebody you mean.
Yeah, that you really like. 90 days. Because within 90 days, you are probably going to see evidence of their character.
I think it's a fabulous idea. It's an incredible idea. The question is, can you do it?
I've done it. No, I've never done that.
I mean, let me tell you now, I'm gonna need Jesus, because that is gonna.
Well, you can take care of you in the meantime.
Yes.
You take care of you when you're not with them.
Yes, of course.
But it's different when you know they're available.
Well, and when you're so, you know what? And I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that's another reason I've kind of shied away from becoming intimate with somebody. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna put it out there. I've been celibate for this May. It'll be 2 years.
You basically been celibate since him.
Whew. I'm sorry. That's something that's hard to speak about. But
why is it hard to speak about? You about everything else.
Because it's hard. It's hard as a grown woman who has sexual needs and desires, and knowing though that the kind of person that I am, that when I share that, it means so much to me. I wish I could be that woman that just goes out and like for fun and for sport. Boy, my life would be a lot easier. But
it'd be a lot easier, but there's a whole lot more trouble that comes with that too.
But I can't. And I know that like when I do that, when I engage in that with somebody, and I'm not saying in the past I have, but I've learned that for me, the latter is better.
I am such a sexual being. I just give all sexual energy, and I don't even know I'm doing it. It's just I always do it, and then they pick up on that energy. They start pursuing. Like, no. Yes, you know. And then it's like yes, and then if it's good, then I want it. You know, and I don't think there's a man who I've ever been in a relationship with who has ever had to say that I've ever told them no. It's always yes.
Yeah.
It's yes. And so for me, I have viewed sex as a form of bonding. Like, this is how we bond. This is the way that we connect. It's obviously fun. I like the intimacy of it and all of that. And so I never saw a benefit in waiting, but until I got into the point of realizing that a common theme between me and all these relationships that I've been in that didn't work was that I had sex with them way too early, which built a false sense of connection. It made me feel more invested in them than I should have been. It was like putting blinders on me in a way And then once those blinders eventually wore off, I felt depleted because I'd given them so much of myself, and they had given me barely nothing outside of that. And I was left feeling depleted.
People don't realize, I mean, this is a true physiological
This is your Achilles heel. Good.
I never thought about that.
Good D. That's your Achilles heel.
Oh, I didn't really think about that.
Think about that, because you talked about it. You said this is the one that broke you. Nothing was right about him. You was letting him tear that thing down so good you need to put iced blueberries on it, okay?
Honey,
I think there's a connection here.
I was going to the store in the frozen section buying fruit and peas, like stocking up because I couldn't. Yes, you're right.
Yes.
I didn't think about that.
Good from the wrong man is like poison.
That's what it was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was the best. You know what? I'm gonna die if somehow he sees this video. Lord knows. And just so you know, I mean, it was the best. I told you it was the best. It was incredible. It's still been the best because it's been the whole.
But I guarantee you this: if you were to have sex with him again, especially since
it was nasty now. Can I tell you why? Because I'm not even attracted to that anymore. To him,
really?
To his because I know the person that lies.
That's what I'm saying. It's not gonna feel the same.
Oh, honey, I'm not even gonna get that over.
I did this. So there was a guy who I was in a relationship with, and I was definitely hypnotized by him. Literally, and I put myself through so much because of him. Abuse, dysfunction, all kinds of stuff. And that was a big tie. Our sexual chemistry pulled us so strong together. Years later, I saw him again. And we ended up having sex again. Everything he did from start to finish was pretty much the same. Nothing had changed, right?
Really?
But what changed is that I didn't respond to him the same way. Here's the thing: when someone is in your body, the mind connects. It connects, and if my mind is not connected to you, then I can't have the same experience. Yep. If I can't trust you, I can't have the same experience. So even though physiologically he was doing the same things, hitting the same spots, same positions, all that kind of stuff, I was checked out because I was thinking to myself, this don't even feel the same way. If anything, I felt a sense of shame that I was even doing it again, because I was like, this is what you allowed to ruin your life for over a year?
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
When you reflect. Crazy. That's exactly, I think, if that person, which I would never, I'm just saying, I would never.
Yeah.
But you're right, it's mental. And it's so mental for me that I couldn't even proceed forward with it. I don't care if he was begging me. No. Because to me, I'm checked out. Once I make my decision and I'm out, I am so gone. You're never getting it back.
Yeah.
No.
So we're gonna do this exercise before we even close out. You're amazing. Y'all know we have Amanda back. This is my homegirl, baby. So we're gonna do this exercise where we're both going to tell our 18-year-old selves something that could have prepared us for men or protected us from the wrong ones. So if you could tell your 18-year-old self something that could have prepared you for men in dating, or help protect you from the very men you dealt with, what would you tell her? And I say 18 because that's that point where you're just entering adulthood.
Love yourself, know what you want, and don't let anybody take all of you. You know what I mean? Don't do that.
I would tell 18-year-old Malcolm that you deserve the same level of love and commitment that you give to other people, and that you should never compromise on that. That everything that you bring to the table, you should and can expect that. And if someone doesn't offer you that, then that is not the person for you at all. Don't be worried about, will the person who deserves me eventually come along? There's so much abundance in this earth. And in fact, what I would tell 18-year-old Malcolm is that by you accepting less than what you deserve, you are lowering your standards and you are lowering your vibration. So you're going to keep on attracting more of what you don't want.
May I ask you something
about that? By all means, please. Yeah.
Is that possible?
What?
The love that you put out, because I unfortunately have not felt that yet and received it yet. You think that there's a mirror image of that? You
know why I think there's a mirror image of that?
Yeah.
Because people like me and you exist. We're not the only two on this earth. Yeah. And the reality is that you've not experienced that for the same reason that you mentioned earlier, because you were choosing people who are reflective of your, at the time, low sense of self-love. So it's not that what's out there doesn't exist, it's that you were looking east, looking for a sunset.
Okay.
Sunsets don't happen in the east.
That's true. It's like I was vibrating at a different frequency. It was so low.
And you were attracting that. I think you tend to attract what you're willing to accept. And although you don't think you can, you know, I used to think I drove the nice car. I was always done up, looking good. I thought I was attracted, my aesthetics and my lifestyle would attract a certain kind of guy. That didn't matter. At the end of the day, people are attracted to the vibration you give. They're attracted to that energy you give off there. And there's something about a whole, full person who knows what they deserve. They give off a very different energy than someone who's operating with a low sense of self or self-esteem. And I think that men who are looking to dog you, generally speaking, are not going after women and men who are very whole, because they know even if they try to go after you, they're not gonna go after you long because they know they can't keep you. Some of y'all wondering why this man done left me alone. He don't call me no more. He stopped calling you because he sees that you're too strong. He knows that he's not gonna be able to deal with you. So you say, why did he leave me for that weak woman? Because he knows she's gonna tolerate him. He'd help you dodge a bullet. Be grateful. Sometimes they run because they know they're not sufficient.
That is so, so true. You're right. Because now, what I was allowing a long time ago, try me today.
Try me today.
Try me today.
Thanks for coming on. Thank you. I love you to death. I love you to death. Do you want people to follow you?
Sure.
How do they follow you?
Want. I am Vitamin A 28. So VITAMINA 28. And that's vitamin A, meaning you need your vitamins, Vitamin Amanda.
Everyone needs vitamin Amanda.
Don't be deficient on that.
And if you want to get my shirt, it says, hello, I am limitless as fuck. You can go to www.shopmjharris.com. That's www.shopmjharris.com. I feel like you're Vanna White for me today.
I know.
I'm loving it. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And what I want you to do is comment below this video. And what I want you to do is if you could tell your 18-year-old self, even if it's just one sentence that could have better equipped that person for relationships and dating, what would that be? If you want to do a paragraph, by all means do it, and tag some friends on here so they can do the same thing. Thank you for being on my love. Darling. Love you to death. Bye, y'all.
Bye.